Welcome to another episode of the Senior Focus. I'm your host, Nick Kaltzis. As you all may know, we had our Living Well with Cancer Symposium this past Thursday. It was held at the Hogan Center at the College of the Holy Cross. The venue, the lunch, the attendance, everything was terrific. We really couldn't have asked for more. Don Osterguy is going to join me today, and we're going to talk about the heart of the matter and various other outreach programs that we offer. Because you know what I say, knowledge is power. Wayne Bailey will also join us later in the program. Wayne has worked in the financial services industry since 1976, helping people protect their assets, and he focuses on retirement planning. Welcome, Donna.
Thank you, Nick.
How are you?
Very good. How are you?
We had a wonderful symposium on Thursday.
Did. Loved it. It was absolutely fantastic. Very, very successful.
I like that so much information is made available to people. People smart enough to go to it so that they're able to get that information. And I'll tell you, some of the presentations from some of the physicians, I learned so much. Some of it was very fascinating.
It was phenomenal. We had probably, I'd say, about 190 people. The room was almost filled. We had about 25 vendors, exhibitors there for community resources. We also had fantastic panel presenters who gave us so much information and knowledge. So we were very fortunate.
We'll talk about the panel presenters, but you know what? Lunch was wonderful.
We had more compliments on the lunch. It was really great. Holy Cross did a fantastic job.
Well, I'm giving you a compliment. You're the special events organizer at the office.
Wow.
You do so many different things. I'll tell you, we all appreciate it. I know I appreciate it. And I appreciate the lunch. The lunch was wonderful.
Good. I'm glad. Thank you. I think it was a great day. We hope to, I'll say, learn from each symposium that we do, and hope that the next one's even better.
I don't think there's any question about it. I learned so much at the Alzheimer's Symposium, and Dr. Drachman's speech at that symposium I thought was just a work of art.
It was unbelievable. Very good.
At this symposium, all the presenters were wonderful. I enjoyed all the presentations. I particularly enjoyed the movie, the video that Dr. Wee presented.
He showed you the intricate pieces and the possibilities of any type of lung cancer surgery and how advanced this has come and how far it's come. And I know he's been our previous guest, and he's such an eloquent and educational speaker. He was that and more on the day of our event.
You know, we talked about, what do they call it, the Da Vinci robot?
It is.
Is that what they?
It is.
And
that's
so
what it is.
in my mind, I was thinking this little contraption. It's not little at all. It's like a huge spider with these arms that, you know, can be manipulated, and the instruments are inside the person's body. I know it's very precise, and they do even better surgery with it than if they had to do it alone. But you know, it was much larger, a much larger contraption than I thought it was going to be.
I suppose that I'd be very thankful if I was the one having surgery that I was fast asleep before that thing came above my head. It's a massive
huge.
machine,
Yeah, it's
massive.
huge.
And on top of that, the funny part is that the surgeon doesn't even sit with you. He's weighing, I'll say, at least 2 feet, 3 feet away from you in an alcove.
It's almost like science fiction.
It is. It is. It's almost scary looking, but
And the results that they get
is unbelievable.
almost like science fiction. When I first found out, because so many of the physicians indicated that cancer is a curable disease. They can actually cure the disease. I never thought that you could cure the disease. I thought if you had a diagnosis of cancer, you know, your time was limited, and if they detected early enough, that's not the case.
Well, let's give an example for our viewers that when Dr. Wee was explaining that I'll call it the old-fashioned way of surgery was cutting a person from side to side, removing a piece of the lung, having to actually separate ribs, and you think how painful that may be.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
All
and
I can
now,
do is think about it. I don't know.
But to know what they do now, which is the Da Vinci robot's 3 or 4 small holes that are inserted, this machine, as I'll call it, goes inside with precise accuracy and removes the portion of lung that is diseased.
And the doctor doesn't look at the person. He looks at a monitor, and he sees in the monitor the inside of the person's body. When we saw what the video looked like, there weren't any large incisions. You couldn't see the inside of the body, but then you looked up and you looked at the monitor and you could see the inside of the
incision was about that big.
You could see the heart, you could see the lungs. I mean, like, you could see things.
You could, and that was the beauty of it in a sense, because
That's fantastic.
Dr. Wee's very fascinating in that he tries to provide visual for you to see what that surgery is like.
Such a gentle guy,
and
too.
He is. He was so great. I'm so pleased and happy that he was able to be part of it. Then we had Dr. Makel, who added great humor to the fact if you needed colonoscopy or anything else.
I thought he had a great presentation.
He did.
Really
we had such great feedback from our attendees of this event because of the fact that doctors who presented, they present with compassion, with a real feel for their expertise. They're not just doctors. This is their passion in life, and you can feel that as they present. Our keynote, Dr. Alan Rusmarin, absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful presenter. He talked so genuinely about the services at UMass Memorial.
It's like you would think he gave public speeches
all the time.
Once, twice, 3 times a week.
I told him that.
He was really very effective.
I have had the opportunity to hear Dr. Rusmarin at the Colorectal Cancer Symposium at UMass Medical Center. And when I went to that, I heard him and I was like, gosh, did we make a good choice having him for our event, because he is such a great speaker. So he opened up our day. So it was just great.
And of course, Susanna Mikowski and Lynn Garrett, they, gave
and they
great
added
presentations as well.
We'll say the alternative side of it. It's not all about, in a sense, if someone has cancer, about the chemotherapy, about the treatment, about how sick you get. This is about their portions with living well with cancer.
You know what I really appreciated was when Dr. Mikowski said, hey, look, physicians, we're not great prognosticators. We don't give great prognosis. And at least from my perspective and from what I've been through in my life, couldn't agree with her more. Even if your physician says it's not looking good for you, it's what you think. It's what you put into it. If you think you're going to be okay and you try very hard, I'm not saying you'll definitely be better, but your chances at recovery are much greater than if you abide by some foregone conclusion that you won't get better. And then Lynn Garrett's talking about alternative, I don't want to say, she said, don't say alternative medicine. She used some other word, complementary medicine.
Complementary, to add to it.
And of course, I went for neurology, didn't help me. I went for acupuncture, and I don't know, I suppose I'll say the rest is history. I made what I'll call a miraculous recovery. It really worked for me, so their presentations I found really touched me.
Susanna Mikowski's was excellent. I remember one point of the day when she was speaking and she said that many physicians, especially primary care physicians, find it uncomfortable to talk about prognosis when you're
yeah, you know what I think
when you have a terminal illness.
I think it's difficult for everyone, whether it's a family member, a loved one, even the doctor. Some of the physicians find it uncomfortable. It's not an easy thing to talk about.
And her presentation was how to talk to your doctor.
Right.
So what better way than if you had a terminal illness diagnosis and need to know information. But in a sense, I think in my case, if I was diagnosed, I'd be afraid to ask. It's a scary thing for the patient and for the doctor if we'll say that they're not sure how far to go in speaking with you. This gave you insights on how to talk to your doctor about all subjects, not just cancer. She was just fantastic. It was a great day all the way around.
I think Dr. Rusmarin should be the keynote speaker at all our symposia.
We can't do that,
He
Nick.
was
We'd be in trouble.
that effective. He was that good.
I know, he was. And
let's talk about our next symposium, Heart of the Matter.
Oh, I'm very
I think
excited.
that's going to be great too.
I think it will be at least as successful, if not more so, I'll be honest with you, than our Living Well with Cancer. Because of the fact so many people live with heart disease every day, possibly have strokes. I just got Dr. Majaz Munis, who will be part of the panel presentation. He sent me last night his title, and his title was so great with what we're looking towards.
Do you remember what his title was?
I do.
What was
it? Stroke prevention and how prevention is, and how, in a sense, that prevention is a cure, not the disease itself. So it's for
Right.
people who you wouldn't have to worry about getting it if you knew how to prevent it in the first place. So don't look for strokes to be something that's your diagnosis. Look at it as you never have to have a stroke if you have the right tools to work with.
You know, you take a look at really the wonderful information that a person can walk away with, and it really is a wonderful day. And I'm not just saying it because we were the ones that put it on. Really was a nice event. And the amount of information that people get, whether it's, you know, the community services that are available or advances in treatment that, you know, the doctors have managed to get to, the ability for people to find out about particular ailments that they suffer from is great. All they have to do is go there.
And that's the key. I think that people don't realize that when they're going there, they'd have a lot of their questions answered. And not necessarily, and even though there is a morning break where you have question and answers, there's an afternoon break where the doctors will specifically answer your questions if you're an attendee. But you have a lot on your mind. You learn so much information, and many times your questions are answered just through the presentation.
I thought that it was interesting that Dr. Muniz's first clinical interest, I looked at his website and I did a little bit of investigation, was Alzheimer's research.
Very well educated man.
Yeah.
He has more titles than you can imagine. He's, I think, delved into so much. He's certainly a wealth of information. He is the director of the stroke clinic at UMass Memorial Medical Center, and I know that he has so much to offer. We are thrilled to have him on board. Thrilled.
Well, you know, when I think of Alzheimer's, I think neurology, and of course there's, you know, when we did the Alzheimer's symposium, it was all neurologists, and you know, I think we were, or I was correct in thinking neurology. So I really wasn't expecting to see Dr. Muniz and, you know, being the head of the stroke prevention clinic as one of his clinical interests, Alzheimer's. That makes me think, you know, someone who might have one of these, we'll call them cerebral episodes of stroke, would be candidate for Alzheimer's, is what I take away from it. You know, obviously we're going to have to get him on here so that I can find out if what I take from it is correct or not. But
he's actually on our radio show, WCRN, next Monday at 11 a.m. He will be our guest, so we're very excited to have him. And he will talk about stroke prevention at that time.
The message that we keep trying to get out is how important it is for people to arm themselves, and I use that word, arm themselves, with knowledge and information. It's going to make their lives more powerful. It's going to empower them. If someone says, you know, I would like to go to the heart of the matter, I would like to see this symposium, I want to see if it's as nice as they say, how can they go about doing that?
You would either call our office to register at 508-755-6525, or you can visit our website, www.edlalaw.com.
And if they call the office, for instance, if they don't have a computer, they call the office, whether it's Lynn they speak with or Teresa.
Lynn, Teresa, any of us. We answer the phone quite often.
Right.
Happy to take your registration. We want to let you know, too, that it fills up very quickly. I believe that this one's going to be very, very the attendance will be very high. We have probably a limit, I'd say, of about 275, 300 people for this event. So we'd like to have you register early. So if you'd like to come to this free event, please sign up as soon as possible.
You know, I thought the room was pretty filled
At
with
190 people.
Right. So, you know, I'm trying to contemplate where are we going to stick another 100 people.
I know. Well, it'll be limited. It'll be squishy, but that's okay. We're happy with that. We're proud to bring this.
Maybe we can have a different setup.
And maybe. I think we'll actually hopefully have a little less vendors so we're able to fit more people in. But the goal is to educate as many as we can. So.
And we have other symposiums people may be interested in as well, whether it's about orthopedic matters, or again, the second annual Alzheimer's Symposium is coming up again in November. And there's time, obviously, you know, to plan those events and for people to become interested. But for instance, with the Alzheimer's Symposium, there's probably already 100 people that have registered for their attendance.
That's how quickly it goes now.
Yeah, so if someone thinks, oh, you know, I really need to go to the Alzheimer's Symposium, but they wait, and then They figure, well, it's in November, so maybe sometime in September or October. It's possible they're likely to be told, like we had to tell so many people in the last one. Yeah, we're sorry. We've,
So there are no waiting lists at this time. I want to mention that. The Heart of the Matter will be on June 20th, Wednesday, June 20th. It begins at 8:30 a.m. with registration and ends at 3 p.m.
It's time for us to take a short break, but stay tuned. When we come back, we'll talk about the Orthopedic Symposium and the Alzheimer's Symposium.
Millbury Healthcare Center is a highly respected 5-star, deficiency-free skilled nursing and rehabilitation center. We are renowned for our compassionate care and specialty programming, making it possible for your next step, returning home. We listen and take the time to understand your goals. We provide support and the tools needed to safely prepare for your transition home. Millbury Healthcare Center is the community choice for skilled nursing and rehabilitation.
Does your loved one suffer from memory impairment, dementia, or Alzheimer's disease? Consider Dodge Park Rest Home in Worcester. Our geriatric medical team and nursing staff are available 24 hours a day. We offer medication administration and incontinence care with dignity. Our activity programs are designed to engage and stimulate the mind. And with Dodge Park Rest Home, you can better protect your estate and save your assets with only a 1-year look back. Your loved one will feel safe and at home with Dodge Park Rest Home of Worcester.
They believe that when apocalypse strikes on December 21st this year, the aliens waiting in their spacecraft inside Pic-du-Garage will save all the humans nearby and beam them off to the next stage. You want to go, Mike? Can we do a remote from there? This is not like, here I am, Lord, take me.
They don't travel light.
No. These people are going with all of it. I think the dog, the cat, the parakeet, the goldfish, the mother-in-law, everyone's going.
Are you searching for health answers? Want to find the best local healthcare specialists? Go to chartertv3.com. Our weekly Health Watch covers all the local health news you need to know. Go to chartertv3.com and click on Worcester.md. You can find the best local healthcare professionals, get articles, watch videos, and rate your doctor all with one click. So tune in to Charter TV3 or go online to chartertv3.com/health and access the best local health resources. Charter TV3 and chartertv3.com. Always on.
I'm Kristen Doucette from Worcester News Tonight. Thank you for choosing Charter.
Welcome back to the Senior Focus and my conversation with Don Ostagai. I wanted to talk just briefly about other symposiums other than the Heart of the Matter. We have one, again, on orthopedics and the second annual Alzheimer's Symposium.
We've been very fortunate that we are able to present 4 different symposia a year. We just did last Thursday, Living Well with Cancer. Our next one is the Heart of the Matter, Facing the Challenges
I think that's going to be a huge
of heart disease and stroke prevention. That's June 20th. Right. We have one on orthopedics. It's Living Well with Joint Replacement and Learning How to Deal with Arthritis. That will be on September 18th. And our last one of the year will be the second annual Alzheimer's Symposium, Life After the Diagnosis. It is Living Well with Life After the Diagnosis, Medical, Legal, and Support Services. That one again is November 7th. So we have them coming up, a lot of upcoming symposia.
You know, a lot of what we see are people in need of services and long-term care. And I would say the majority of them have some kind of a cognitive impairment, and a lot of them, you know, obviously have some kind of a dementia or Alzheimer's, But you know, a lot of them also have suffered some kind of a stroke, and I think this upcoming event, Heart of the Matter, is going to be something that can provide people with a wealth of information.
Think for a minute, Nick. I think that we kind of based many of our symposia. I know that we sat down together and tried to determine what were the most important. I know your first thought when we sat down in my office was, we need a joint replacement arthritis. That's a big factor for people. And then we found out about the heart disease and really researched and said, wow, that's a huge one too. I think we could add probably a lot more, but the difference is that we see clients every single day in our office who either have dementia or a spouse that's come in and is in rehab and has hip replacement or knee replacement or shoulder replacement. They deal with arthritis, they deal with cancer, they deal with Alzheimer's, they deal with heart disease and stroke. We see this every day. So for us to be able to bring this great information and provide a symposia for people on these specific subjects, that's probably one of the best things that our office does.
Yeah, well, what I wanted to do is not just bring information that is pertinent to those people that are going into some kind of a facility, whether it's a rest home, a nursing home, assisted living. Yeah, we'll provide some symposia on issues that are pertinent for those people that have and that suffer from cognitive disabilities, whether it's Alzheimer's or a related dementia, whether it's a stroke or some other cognitive impairment that people have. But people are living at home with certain ailments, whether it's orthopedic issues, joint replacement issues, whether it's diabetes, cancer. I would like to be able to provide a wealth of information and let people come and take away from it what they need to take away from it.
Nick's goal is to have 4 symposia this year, so and next year added on to the 4 we already have, so that's 8. So we're a little stretched thin now, but that's okay. I think our goal at Elder and Disability Law Advocates is to bring as much education as we can to people. And if these are the ways that we are able to reach so many people, I think that's fantastic. And I'm very proud that our office does that.
And there's other ways that we reach people as well, isn't there?
There is.
Why don't we talk
seminars,
about
seminars. We have lots of seminars.
We do. We have lots of seminars.
We do. We
Good
have
ones.
one this Thursday, actually, April 12th at the Lincoln Senior Center. Tomorrow. We're running all day tomorrow. Tomorrow's a very busy day for us. We have the Paxton Senior Center at 1 o'clock on 17 West Street, a seminar at the Paxton at 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
And at 10 o'clock, we'll be in Lincoln, Mass. at the Lincoln Senior Center. So it's a running day all day for us, but that's part of what we normally do.
And what are we going to talk about?
We are talking about our Be Organized, Be Prepared kit, which you have with us. And we want to hold that up and show people. I know last week I was quick to move it on and not give people the opportunity to see this. So I'm going to hold this up for a little while so that they can really focus in on this kit because it's so great. We've had nothing but great success with this. We have over 3,500 of these kits gone since last year. Just a fantastic way to be organized.
I didn't have any expectation or about any idea that it would be as popular as it is. Over 3,500 kits within
have gone
the
out
year.
Since January of last year.
That's a pretty staggering number.
We have our kit that expands to 3.5 inches. You are able to put everything in here. And since our show last week, we have had call upon call to our office to get this kit. So we are so thrilled to be bringing this to people.
And you know what?
Free of charge.
Yeah, and that's what I find the most thrilling of all. It doesn't cost anyone anything. It doesn't. And it will help them minimize their expense down the road, because one of the things that really drives legal expense is when someone comes into the office and they're completely unprepared. They don't know where their documents are, or they don't have documents, and they come in and they say, you know what, I can't handle this. I'm in the midst of a medical crisis. Please help me. You do whatever needs to be done. I'm letting people know, and you're letting people know, if you get an organizer, if you get the kit, and even if you use the front of it as, a means to prod yourself along and to give you some guidance as to what documents you may need for your planning, it's going to really assist the attorney down the road and make their job that much easier. And when their job is that much easier, their costs are that much lower. If their task is complicated, time consuming, if you don't have any planning done, if you don't have simple things like a durable power of attorney, a healthcare proxy, yeah, maybe those documents would cost you, $300 if you did it when you were competent. But if a person can no longer execute those documents and a loved one has to go into probate court, they're talking thousands of dollars.
Exactly.
Makes sense. And it doesn't cost anything to get the documents to see what you need.
I want to mention too that this booklet right here has everything in it. It's almost a directory on exactly how to fill out this kit and have everything together along with your checklist. So both of these are included in the kit. So you have enough information, honestly, in here to, we'll say, plan for the future.
Right.
That's the goal. So these are the two seminars that we will be presenting tomorrow at
That's
the Leicester, at the Paxton Senior Center and the Lincoln Senior Center. We welcome anybody who would like to come to these events to call our office. We'd be happy to include you. We could call the Senior Center themselves and have them know that, we have 2 or 4 or 5 more people coming who would ever like to attend. We give these kits out for free at this event.
I think that if a person wants the information is out there. Whether it's the kit, whether it's the symposia that we provide, or the seminars, the information is out there, and people just need to be proactive. Doesn't cost them anything. Go out there and get the information.
I want to mention too, Nick, that our office, Elder and Disability Law Advocates Office, free legal clinics as well at senior centers throughout Worcester County, all over. We have one this coming Friday at the Millbury Senior Center. It's always the second Friday of every month at the Millbury Senior Center. And what that consists of basically is Nick or one of our attorneys attend the Senior Center. You have a private room that...
It'll be me this Friday.
This Friday.
You know why I know?
Why?
Because it's Friday the 13th.
Okay, so maybe, hopefully that's good luck for you, right?
Yeah, well, I'm not superstitious,
Good.
so I don't think it'll be good luck or bad luck.
Good. But you will be at the Senior Center. Tell me a little bit about what these are like. I've been to a couple of them, but just for people, our viewers, to know.
Millbury is a particularly nice center. There's a lot of people. It's a really nice environment. It's a nice building. And there's usually, they try to limit it to like 4 or 5 people, and they try not to have a great number of people. Like, I think the Worcester Senior Center, Shrewsbury Senior Center.
Normally have 8 or 9 people
each 8 or 9
month.
people easy. They'll try to limit it to 4 or 5. So in the event a person were to call there, they may be told, hey, there's a 2-month wait, or you can't see the attorney for 3 months. Of course, they can call the office. We can give them a call, and we can indicate, hey, look, we're going to be there for an extra half an hour. We're going to be there for an extra hour. Someone comes in, they typically get a half an hour. They will talk about what issue they want to talk about, whether it's an estate planning issue, a long-term care planning issue. Perhaps a loved one, a parent, a spouse went into a nursing home. They need to file a long-term care application with Mass Health. Or maybe there's a real estate dispute. They're not getting along well with their neighbor. The neighbor is throwing the leaves on their side of the fence, and what can we do about it? If it's something that is beyond my expertise, something I'm not comfortable talking about, at least I can refer them to someone who does that kind of work. No cost is associated, so they can attend these clinics. There's no charge.
I want to mention, too, that our website is a wealth of information. We have everything from our symposia that you can sign up for, as well as our clinics, as well as our seminars. All of these have the ability to, you can go to the website, sign up for any of them. You'll see the banner right when you open up our website. That banner will slide through. That'll tell you about the upcoming events that we have. So there's a lot that you can use and access with our website. If you'd like to sign up for any of these, the symposia, the seminars, the legal clinics, again, all free of charge, please feel free to call our office, 508-755-6525, or visit our website, www.edlaadv.com. law.com.
Donna, thank you for joining me
Thank
today.
you.
I just wanted
Thank
to
you.
tell you really do a great job. A lot
Thank
of
you.
information gets out there to people, and without someone like you putting all this information and making it available to them, they wouldn't know that information. We're going to head to a quick break right now. When we come back, on the other side of the break, we're going to talk to Wayne Bailey. He's going to join us to talk about retirement planning.
Does your loved one suffer from memory impairment, dementia, or Alzheimer's disease? Consider Dodge Park Rest Home in Worcester. Our geriatric medical team and nursing staff are available 24 hours a day. We offer medication administration and incontinence care with dignity. Our activity programs are designed to engage and stimulate the mind. And with Dodge Park Rest Home, you can better protect your estate and save your assets with only a 1-year look back. Your loved one will feel safe and at home with Dodge Park Rest Home of Worcester.
Millbury Healthcare Center is a highly respected 5-star deficiency-free skilled nursing and rehabilitation center. We are renowned for our compassionate care and specialty programming, making it possible for your next step, returning home. We listen and take the time to understand your goals. We provide support and the tools needed to safely prepare for your transition home. Millbury Healthcare Center is the community choice for skilled nursing and rehabilitation.
Join Girls Inc. of Worcester at its annual Girls Celebration, honoring teen girls and community leaders with guest speaker Cheryl Ann Gangle, founder of Be Like Brit, and a special presentation by our expressive arts performance troupe, Dear World, Voices of Worcester Girls, on Thursday, May 3rd at the Manor Restaurant in West Boylston. For additional information or for tickets, please visit us at girlsincworcester.org. Charter Communications and Charter TV3 are proud sponsors of the Girls Celebration. Are you searching for health answers? Want to find the best local healthcare specialists? Go to chartertv3.com. Our weekly Health Watch covers all the local health news you need to know. Go to chartertv3.com and click on worcester.md. You can find the best local healthcare professionals, get articles, watch videos, and rate your doctor all with one click. So tune in to Charter TV3 or go online to chartertv3.com/health and access the best local health resources. Charter TV3 and chartertv3.com. Always on. Consider donating new or gently used books at sites around Worcester for the 6th annual Worcester, the City That Reads book drive. The committee hopes to collect 26,000 books this year, with the goal to provide summer reading material to children who may not otherwise have access to books. The books for children in pre-kindergarten through grade 8 are being accepted at this time. Donations are accepted at the following locations, and book collections are also being held by Worcester Public High Schools, Worcester colleges and universities, private schools, and organizations.
I'm Siobhan Connolly from Worcester News Tonight. Thank you for choosing Charter.
Welcome back to the Senior Focus, and I'm joined now by Wayne Bailey. Hello, Wayne. How are you?
Hi, Nick. I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. There's a lot of information that I hope to have you talk about today. You've been involved in the financial services industry, as people may recall, since 1976. You've been doing this for a while.
For some time now, yes.
How has financial services changed since 1976?
You had to give my age away, didn't you? Yes. Back then things were a lot simpler. I know from watching my family save money, it was pretty much savings bonds, savings banks, maybe mutual funds. As the years went on, we see IRAs are introduced, the big impact of regulatory authority oversights, people living longer, which is changing all the look-back periods affecting seniors today, Social Security, private pension plans in the private sector. Now, I think 90% of all private companies do not even have a pension plan. It's a 401k plan, putting more emphasis on people's awareness on where to save.
You know, that strikes a particular nerve with me, because I don't know if you're aware of it, but Massachusetts leads all states in having the largest gap between what a senior needs for income and what their outlay is to be able to remain in the community, it's about a $10,000 gap. So the fact that people live longer only exacerbates that problem and puts them in a situation where they're in a financial shortfall.
Absolutely. It's a shame. You know, it's great that people live longer and they fail to do the proper planning techniques. They do that because of fear of, you know, who do we talk to? It's difficult enough if you're married, you want to talk to your spouse, that's enough. But to your children, you're pretty private about that.
You know, it's all about maintaining your quality of life and your standard of living. And it's okay that, you know, the physicians and the doctors and the medical community can keep you alive longer, but you have to do things so that you're able to maintain your standard of living during the period where your life is extended.
Well, media's doing a good job, maybe an overload, in educating people on what they need to do.
Right.
I know you use that power phrase, knowledge is power.
Yep.
I think applied knowledge is power also, where a lot of people know what they should do, but they just don't do it.
Do people ask you when they come in, hey, at what age should I start planning? I get asked that all the time.
Yes.
Do you get asked that?
I get asked all the time when we should, and there's two phases, pre-retirement planning and post-retirement planning. Okay. My practice, as well as yours, is usually with those nearing retirement within 5 years.
That's more thorough than I get with my clients. I don't do the pre-retirement stuff.
Right.
I do long-term care planning, but you know, I'm interested to hear what you say about the pre-retirement and the post-retirement.
Pre-retirement planning is the life cycle stage where most people accumulate money. In over 30 years, you have a defined time horizon. I plan to retire in 30 years. I plan to pay my mortgage off in 30 years. So when you set up your goals, you have to find that number, like you see on television now, the ING commercial. What's your number? What rate of return do you need to earn? But you create habits for 30 years that when you flip the switch to now this saving side to a spending side, it's very difficult for a retiree because they don't have a time horizon. How long will we live? Today, if you're a married couple age 65, there's a 50% chance one spouse will live to age 92.
Right.
And they have to prepare for inflation, changes in the tax laws. So changing that habit from a saving side, I see more of the seniors I work with try to preserve the principal and just try to work off the interest. Right. And in the environment today, and the volatility of the market, it's very threatening to them. You
know, it's like you were saying, pre-retirement, that's your money years. That's when you can work. You earn your income. You have, you know, particular habit. You know, what's the saying? Save, save, save. So that there is the ability for the money that you save to be able to compound itself with interest. So there's more money available when you retire. I try to tell my kid that all the time. I say, you know, now that you're young, now's when you need to put money aside. Don't just spend save when you retire because of the habits that you've had during, you know, your working years. It'll pay off in the end.
Absolutely. I think the first job you receive when you graduate from school or go into the workforce full time is the time you take your first dollar and either set up a Roth if you're in a low bracket, or you start to take advantage of the 401ks that your companies offer everybody. But the difference is when I see those that now go into retirement, it's unfortunate that the human resources departments of a lot of companies don't prepare them for it emotionally, because it's very difficult to change those habits to start to spend. The fear of the unknown, emergencies that could crop up, change in health.
I think they say that in Massachusetts, I think the reason that they gave for the large gap between what a person brings in on an annual basis and what they have to spend on an annual basis to remain in the community is because in Massachusetts, the majority of retirees only get Social Security. They don't have these other retirement vehicles that will provide income to them.
Well, that's why you're seeing a lot of commercials out there today that talk about the reverse mortgage.
Right.
Because that's probably their largest asset.
Right.
And
I agree.
Most are
in
afraid
most
to
cases,
carry
it is.
Yes, it is. And they're afraid to really look at that because in their mind it's debt.
Right. Well, debt in the sense it needs to be paid back, but you know, lots of times I'll see elderly people come into the office and they'll think that, well, I'm poor, I have no money, I have nothing. But they'll be sitting there with a $500,000, $600,000 home with no mortgage. Right. All of their equity, all of their money, all their savings is tied up in an illiquid asset in their home. So for them to be able to tap into the equity that they've built up in their home would be through a reverse mortgage.
Yes. And they resist it so much because they want to leave that to the next generation.
Right. Not appropriate for all people, but for some people, if you don't have a stream of income coming in that's sufficient to, provide a budget for you to remain in the community and maintain, we'll say, your standard of living, yeah, they may be expensive to initiate and to get, but really, it is appropriate for some people.
I talk about it at every seminar that I do, and I encourage people to get better educated on it.
I assume you see a lot of people who come in and have questions with regard to caring for aging parents. What would you say is the first step these people need to take? For my own example, I'm the oldest of 5 children, and I wanted to talk to my father, who was an executive for a utilities company. They were very private, and I really approached them like I tell a lot of my clients to approach them. Seek some counsel. I don't want to be nosy. I don't really know what you have, because the parents are worried about, well, you're married, you have a daughter-in-law, we have 4 daughter-in-laws in the family. They might want money for the college education, put stress on us. We don't want them to know what we have. That generation were very frugal and saved a lot. Right. And many of my clients, when they come in, once they have a death claim, they can't believe what they have for assets for their children. And it's a shame that they didn't spend it all. And I encourage them, spend it all or do the legal processes to make sure the legacy planning is in place. So opening a line of communication is probably the first step that someone needs to take in providing care for an aging parent.
It's not that you want to know their business. Encourage them to talk to either the attorney or financial advisor if they feel confident with it. And that's the job of the financial advisor as well as the attorney to say, this is going to happen if you fail to plan. It's not fair to your children to make decisions if mom and dad don't make those tough decisions.
And as you mentioned, sometimes people are not all that willing to share information.
Absolutely, they're not.
And what are some of the reasons why someone might not want to involve themselves in a conversation with their kids?
Daughter-in-laws might say, I need some money, ask dad for it. Might put pressure on the spouse and go to the parents.
Yeah, oftentimes, at least in the planning that I do for people, the spouse of a child is a major concern in the planning.
Yes, very much so.
They're a bit concerned about it.
With a high divorce ratio today, Massachusetts is one of the few states that has the Vaughan law that says they can include that marital asset in the divorce separation. We're the only state that has that.
Privacy is another issue. I think you had indicated that, lots of times people don't want to share information with their children.
No, they don't.
There is a certain amount of information that you really do need to share, whether it's you share it with your child or at least, I would think, at least share some information with an agent in, let's say, a durable power of attorney. So that in the event someone needs to help you, they have some kind of knowledge base with which to work on.
Absolutely.
When we talk about a financial plan, what is exactly a financial plan? What are you talking about?
Well, I know we have a short time, but a financial plan really encompasses what's important to you about your money. In pre-retirement, it's about savings. You can tolerate risk a lot better. It's putting down your goals in place and how to achieve those goals. I try to use an analogy. It's just like planning your vacation. Where we're going to go, what's the airplane would we ride on, what are the fees, what are the least expensive, any buys, any coupons, what would happen if this was a tornado and we have to make an alternate plan. So a financial plan puts in place your goals, identifies where you want to be, how much money you can afford to take out on a withdrawal basis when you're retired. A lot of folks will come in, they don't know their aggregate return on their money, and if I ask them what rate of return does your money have to work now that you're not working to achieve your goals, they don't know.
You know, Wayne, I've been to a presentation or two that you've put on, and I particularly like that one graphic that is like a puzzle. There are a number of different issues or matters that need to be taken into account.
This is the one, I think.
Yes, that is the one.
This is probably one of my logos that I like to use and I'll hold it up for a moment. It talks about the center of retirement planning really is cash flow planning. I have my Social Security, I may have supplemental pension plan, and I have my assets. And everyone worries about the marketplace, and they should. In today's volatility market and what's going on in our government, it is threatening. So it's about preservation of our life savings that we need to work at. And most people don't know the risk associated to what can affect that. They think the market is the only risk. No. Taxes is a big, important part, and it will be an important part in the marginal bracket. Investment management, we talk about, all right, how hard does your money have to work? Do you want it to work in the bank for a CD, or do you want it to work in the market to try and get a little more risk, a higher return? We talk about the distribution. Today, they're just saying that the person that wants to retire to have the money last at least 25 years in retirement, it's a drawdown rate about 3.75%. It used to be 5%.
Yeah, what did you say that the life expectancy of someone used to be like 2.5 years for Social Security? Now it's like
25 years.
25 years?
25 years.
That's a rather staggering increase in life expectancy.
It is. That's why we have a concern about Social Security.
Yeah. And risk. It's a big concern.
Longevity is going to be a concern as we live longer right now. Nursing home quality care right now, they're saying they're not building any new nursing homes at this point.
Which doesn't make sense, because if you look at the numbers that are turning 65 every day, I think Social Security pegs the number at 10,000 people a day turn 65.
Yes, the baby boomers just hit, and they say by 2030, 7.7 million of those baby boomers over age 65 will have dementia or Alzheimer's disease.
It's the economy, because I can remember years ago, retirement communities, retirement homes, that was the rage. Everybody wanted to get involved in that industry, and I think now, because there's not a lot of funds in the economy, people shy away from it. I think they are thinking, well, if we provide long-term care housing and services for the elderly, how are we going to get compensated for the services these people need?
Well, I think that's where the insurance industry is trying to legislate. They have benefits for long-term care insurance for the younger generation today to purchase it by looking at offering tax credits or even full deductions for it, which would be a nice incentive. And I know that a lot of people that I talk to, the fear is paying for long-term care isn't inexpensive, as you know.
Well, we're going to head to a break right now, but when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about that issue.
Okay.
Okay.
Millbury Healthcare Center is a highly respected 5-star deficiency-free skilled nursing and rehabilitation center. We are renowned for our compassionate care and specialty programming, making it possible for your next step, returning home. We listen and take the time to understand your goals. We provide support and the tools needed to safely prepare for your transition home. Millbury Healthcare Center is the community choice for skilled nursing and rehabilitation.
Does your loved one suffer from memory impairment, dementia, or Alzheimer's disease? Consider Dodge Park Rest Home in Worcester. Our geriatric medical team and nursing staff are available 24 hours a day. We offer medication administration and incontinence care with dignity. Our activity programs are designed to engage and stimulate the mind. And with Dodge Park Rest Home, you can better protect your estate and save your assets with only a 1-year look back. Your loved one will feel safe and at home with Dodge Park Rest Home of Worcester.
Did you know that heart disease and stroke together claim more lives than any other cause of death? Scary but true. That's why the American Heart Association makes it their mission to build healthier lives free of heart disease and stroke. Join Charter TV3 in fighting heart disease and stroke at the 2012 Central Mass Heart Walk on Saturday, May 5th at East Park in Worcester. Every step you take will raise funds to support life-saving heart and stroke research. Help us beat heart disease.
We are truly blessed with a beautiful community. It's our collective responsibility to ensure we keep it that way. Please join all of us in keeping Worcester clean.
Count me in.
Count me in.
Be a part of the City Manager's Clean Team. Saturday, April 14th from 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. drizzle or shine. Meet at 51 Providence Street.
Promotional message provided by the City of Worcester and Charter TV3.
Tired of weather reports that don't focus on Central Mass? Introducing Worcester Weather, the only video weather report for Worcester. Worcester Weather is easily accessible 24/7 by visiting chartertv3.com. It is updated throughout the day to give you the best video forecast possible. Worcester Weather also airs at 5 p.m. during the Jordan Levy Show and every Worcester News Tonight telecast. Worcester Weather gives you the local forecast you have always wanted. Worcester Weather on Charter TV3 and chartertv3.com. Brought to you by Berterra Nissan of Auburn.
I'm Caitlin Tivnan from Worcester News Tonight. Thank you for choosing Charter.
Welcome back to the Senior Focus and my discussion with Wayne Bailey. You know, Wayne, one of the things that people oftentimes ask me to explain to them, if there is, what's the difference between a financial plan and an estate plan?
Well, the financial plan encompasses everything, but I really believe the estate plan completes the financial plan.
Mm-hmm.
It's leaving directions on your wishes when you pass away.
Right.
And it's a fear factor. A lot of people, it's a difficult conversation to have with my clients or anyone, because they really only talk to the husband and wife, or they hear horror stories about a neighbor or friend, or on the news about problems that occur with people that don't plan.
Mm-hmm.
And often they say, we don't need an estate plan. And I tell everyone, you do, because if you don't, the state has one already for you.
It's just like the issue that, you know, physicians oftentimes face. The physicians that I've spoken to with respect to cancer, whether it's colorectal cancer, lung cancer, whatever kind of cancer it is, regular screenings that are started at an appropriate age, we'll say, you know, early screenings to provide early detection of any abnormalities are more than helpful. They're crucial and they're critical. Most people don't want to go forward with the screening because they're afraid of what they might find, and what they need to do is do the screening and find out if there's an abnormality and get it taken care of. Same thing with what you're talking about.
That's a perfect analogy of really what the financier's role is. You should find someone to work with that you feel confident with, just as you would as your primary care physician, so they can do these spot checks on your financial plan. The economy changes, they should be in touch with you to say we need to shift a little. Identify problems that they're not aware of. That's why when we talk about the different parts of the puzzle, you know, pressures put on by family members who may have, you know, some difficult times financially, and they need some support. A client would come in and talk to us and say, no, we need, you can't do that. You can't afford to give them that money right now without affecting your plan.
And what about issues of incapacity or cognitive issues? If someone lacks capacity and they're not able to execute legal documents, are they out of luck?
I don't think they're out of luck.
I mean, they can go into, or have a loved one go into probate court, get a court appointment, have a fiduciary act on their behalf.
That's where we try to encourage people not to do crisis planning.
Right.
Don't wait until you have the heart attack to see the doctor. As you said, see them prior. We talk to sensitive issues that people will ask me. Well, we ask a lot of facts about your estate. What do you own? What's important to you about what you have? And when you're not here, I always like to say, you can't take it with you.
Right.
So plan on spending everything that you have. If you want to leave a legacy, let's talk about that another way. Because if you plan on spending your assets down, you need to know what rate of return it is. And having the legal documents in place, the power of attorney, and having someone for the healthcare proxy, you know, to ask them who's the right person to be your trustee. It's difficult for them to make these decisions. Another example, my sisters both are arguing, I want my mother's diamond ring.
Right.
It's not fair for you, Mom and Dad, not to make the decision. Write it down, and then I'd say to my sisters, she made the decision, I didn't. It's not fair for them to do that.
With regard to asset protection, everyone comes into the office and they don't want to lose their assets to the state because of long-term care, nursing home costs, and they want to protect their assets. A lot of people have come in thinking, oh, I'm all set. I did a trust 5 years ago, 10 years ago. We're all set. And then you take a look at the trust doesn't protect them.
That's true.
It's not the right kind of trust.
That's a common error I see when I review financial plans.
It's a sad thing.
They'll have a revocable trust, but they never retitle assets in the revocable trust, or they never went to the effort to transfer title into the irrevocable trust.
So if it's a revocable trust, if I'm not mistaken, there is no protection to the assets.
No protection at all. It's really avoids probate, which is important for a lot of people.
Right.
So keep it private and exercise.
You can use it as a means to minimize taxes if your estate is large enough. Or perhaps a second marriage, you can, make certain accommodations for your current spouse, but then provide the assets to children from a first marriage, that type of thing.
And that's more and more popular today with a lot of second marriages out there. So educating them on the right types of trust, and there are really only two types, the irrevocable and the revocable. But the irrevocable, I encourage everyone, that's a very important way to own property. And a lot of people feel, I don't have that type of assets there.
Right.
Well, you have a home, could be worth $200,000 or $300,000.
People think they don't have assets when all their equity's tied up in their home, and then they find out what their home is assessed for or appraised at, and they're flabbergasted. They're surprised at the equity, how much their home is worth. That's where their home is, their value is, their money. They have money. You have to provide an appropriate measure of protection in the event you want to leave that asset as a legacy to your loved ones.
As well as protecting it from unknown creditors or predators, car accidents, liability exposure. As well as leaving directions when you do pass away inside irrevocable trust, how does these assets are dispersed. You write your own law, depending on how you see your children. You can give it to them outright. Some children may abuse it. They won't respect it as hard as you did because they didn't earn it.
It's like a will, but it's a different document. It's not a probate document. It doesn't take you into probate, but as far as the same kind of decisions that are made in the will, you can make them in the trust too, only they get treated differently. And if you do the right type of trust, there's asset protection as well. Very critical for a lot of people.
As you said, asset protection, and you need an irrevocable trust, but the fear people have is they lose control of giving it away and we can't get at it. They can manage it, they can buy and sell, they can take income off of it. The more educated I work with my clients about irrevocable trust, and I'm not an attorney, that's where we come to you, is once they understand it, it's more likely they're going to say it's something I need to include into my financial plan.
You know, if people want to provide protection to their assets from the cost of nursing home care, yeah, I think the irrevocable trust is probably the last bastion that they can utilize to protect their assets. And it's good because, at least in my estimation, the vast majority of people, the majority of their assets are tied up in their home. So they can put their home in, it's a non-performing asset, and they can protect it. But in any event, that's all for this week's show. There's a lot more that I want to talk to Wayne about. So Wayne, I'm going to have to ask you to come back so we can talk about other retirement issues. You know, as they say, knowledge is power. The more that a person knows, the more power they're going to have. We'll be back next week at the same time. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me, 508-755-6525. Thank you.
Prizes can be good, right?
You offered us some water there, sir, but I'd take a scotch now.
I can join you as well.
Gotta wait till 5 o'clock, huh?
Not me. No scotch for me because I'm going to meet Debbie.
But after the workout,
Maybe I'll have an ouzo or something, but not a scotch.
hey, have a great time on your cruise and honeymoon.
I will. Thank you. Thank you.
Are you gonna have a pre-taped show that week?
As a matter of fact, I think that Donna made an appointment to tape. Oh, you know what? I don't know who's coming in next week. Do you know?
I don't know either.
We'll blame it on Donna. It's her fault, you know.
I think you should say that.
Yeah, I will. Believe. Trust me, I will.
We have a pre-built generic, so that's okay.
Huh? Yeah,
We have a
just
pre-built-
generic one.
Yeah, we have a pre-built generic.
Okay, so the answer is no.
I didn't want you to take off your mic if we weren't. If we
Well,
weren't
I'm
sure.
afraid you were a little late because the mic was already off.
I would have pulled it right back through. Thank you.
Yeah, Donna and I set up a thing this morning.
Okay.
We take a couple shows on a
Thank
Tuesday
you.
morning in a few weeks from now.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of a going away.
And this show will also air at 7:30 tonight. Before the- yeah, watch out. Lots of information.